Welcome to Corys Conscious Living.
Hi friends, it's Corey here. I just wanted to remind you that if you are one of my biggest fans of Heidi, Cherry and Vaya stories, don't forget to talk to your parents or your guardians to see if they'll let you join the cat club. Go to the link down below that says Patron and you'll find all the information that you need to know. By joining the cat club, you automatically get 3 exclusive Heidi, Cherry and Vaya stories every month that no one else gets. Only cat club members get them. So they're not here on YouTube or Insight Timer or my podcast channel. If you can join, I'll see you there every month on the 7th of the month for your 3 exclusive stories. Namaste, my little friends. Enjoy your meditation story. Are you ready to meditate with Corey? Are you ready to be still? So very still, so that your body can get peaceful and quiet. Close your eyes if it feels right for you. Allow your body to just sink into your bed. Stephany was on the bus on the way home from school. She'd had a really rough week. She got tests and different exams at school and she was super stressed. She was tired from all the studying. She'd been arguing with her best friend and felt really sad inside. It'd just been a hard week. She needed something nice. She needed a break. She reached into her backpack and pulled out her wallet. There was a compartment in her wallet where she kept her magical earrings. She didn't wear them all the time these days. Life had gotten so busy. The older Stephany got, the more complicated things seemed to be. She needed to go on a journey, to be with her friends, to be back in Moonbow Forest. She put on the earrings, put her wallet back in her backpack and closed her eyes. She rested her head on the back of her chair on the bus, took a big, deep breath and softened her body into knowing what was coming next. She heard the rustling sound in her ears. She felt the crackling, the popping, the shift in her energy. The curtain from this world into another world, into Moonbow Forest, was there in front of her. She could feel it with her eyes closed. She could sense it and smell it. It had a feeling of electricity all over it. The crackles and the snaps and the pops. She took another big, deep breath and just jumped. When she opened her eyes, the bus stopped. There was no one else on the bus now. The bus was a different bus. It was bright yellow. Everything inside was bright yellow. The seats were bright yellow. There was no driver, yet the bus had been moving and then stopped. It was like a sunshine bus. It felt happy, like she'd just stopped and arrived at somewhere very, very special. The colours were bright, just like normal. The sky was so blue. There were trees and grass that she could see outside through the windows. And then she noticed to her right a building shaped like a giant donut. A giant donut. There were big letters on the side of the building that said Donut Station. The doors on the bus opened all by themselves. She took the steps down off the bus. When she looked down at her feet, she was barefoot once again. She stepped onto the soft, warm grass of Moonbow Forest. It smelled the same. It looked the same. Everything was so bright and happy and loving. Her heart started to beat just a little bit faster. She felt like she was home. She was so looking forward to something nice after such a horrible week. She started to walk towards Donut Station. The door slowly opened for her. It was like the place was waiting for her. It had missed her. Yet she'd never been to this part of Moonbow Forest before. She walked inside of Donut Station. She took the biggest deep breath. Her eyes got so big. She couldn't believe it. There must have been 2, 3, maybe 400 different flavors of donuts, from ceiling to floor on all 4 walls, stacked with different flavored donuts. And the smell, it was like nothing you could describe. It smelled like donuts, of course, but all the different flavors, the jellies, the creams. Oh, she could smell chocolate, she could smell raspberry jelly, she could smell vanilla cream, she could smell cinnamon. You name it. You imagine it right now. What flavor? It was there. Every single flavored donut that you could think of was there. The donuts seemed to welcome her into the station. Come eat me. We've been waiting for you, Stephany. Which one do you want to try first? It was like they were talking to her. She walked over to where her favorite donut was. The maple bar. She reached out and took one. It was soft and warm still. She placed the donut in her mouth. The maple frosting on top of the donut had a slight crack, and then it melted in her mouth. It was the best maple bar she'd ever tasted. The cream inside was so sweet. Just this alone, just this, the pleasure of this, the smells, the tastes, the texture in her mouth, was making her whole reality back home start to go foggy in her mind, misty, like morning dew. Who, what, tests, school, arguing with friends, all seemed to just start to fade away. Stephany tasted a couple of different donuts there in the donut station and noticed that there was a door at the back. She knew she needed to go through it. When she went through the door, there was a fountain. It looked like a water fountain. It was very, very big and ornate, with statues and water coming out of their mouths. The sound was very pleasant and relaxing. She walked closer to the water fountain and heard the voice. "What flavor would you like me to be?" Stephany put her fingers on her chin as if to say, what do I feel like? She thought about the flavor orange. She never even said a word, and the water fountain turned orange. "Drink me," she heard. She reached her hands out and cupped them underneath one of the ornate mouths that was pouring the water out of it. She gathered some juice in her hands and took a sip. It was delicious. It was like the freshest, sweetest orange juice she'd ever tasted. Then, without thinking, she thought about lemonade, and instantly the fountain changed into lemonade. This is fun, she thought. Then she thought about grape juice, apple juice, raspberry juice, cranberry juice, and every single time it changed like a rainbow in front of her. How cool, she thought. The forest was in the background. She could hear the trees blowing in the wind, rattling their leaves. Those chocolate trees, she loved them so much. She started to walk towards the forest. The forest had unicorns in it here and there. Her friends, she thought. So good to be back here. She felt safe, with no worries, no stress. She was in her most favorite place in the world. She walked slowly through the forest and just enjoyed being there once again. She wasn't hungry, so she didn't have any of the chocolate trees. But they moved and swayed and rustled with the wind as if they were talking to her, welcoming her back. Ahead, she saw what looked like a lake. She kept walking towards the lake, but it wasn't her normal lake. It wasn't Pizza Lake. It looked different. When she got through the clearing of the trees into the open space, she could see exactly what it was. Mashed potatoes. Like a big giant pond of mashed potatoes. The steam was rising off them as if they were hot. Hot mashed potatoes, she thought. This is hilarious. She went over to the side of the pond and dipped her toes in the side. The potatoes were warm but not hot. I wonder what it feels like to swim in mashed potatoes, she thought. I don't think I fancy it. She knelt down and scooped up a little bit of mashed potatoes on her fingers and tasted it. They were creamy and buttery and just the right amount of salt. No lumps. They were definitely not mashed potatoes out of a box. They were delicious. She took another scoop and then another scoop. I wonder how long it would take to eat this pond of mashed potatoes. I wonder if anybody else here at Moonbow Forest eats the mashed potatoes. And then, almost to answer her question, the unicorns came out of the trees. 5 of them, all different colours, off in the distance, coming towards the other side of the pond. They all leaned forward as if they were taking a bite of mashed potatoes. How peculiar, she thought. But how wonderful at the same time. Then she noticed an old friend. She squinted her eyes and looked closer. No? Yes? No, is it? It is. It is, she said inside. She started to run around the pond. Luna, she shouted. Luna, I'm home. Luna's ears perked up, her head lifted up from the mashed potatoes. She spotted Stephany and started running towards her. It was like a movie. They were running towards each other. And then when they got there, they embraced and hugged. Oh, it's been such a long time. I've missed you, said Stephany. Luna nuzzled her nose and her head and her face and her ears into Stephany's face. They hugged again. And then Luna said, would you like to go for a ride? Oh, I would, said Stephany as she climbed on her back. She held on to Luna's mane, and Luna took off within a couple of steps, up, off the ground, up over the trees. Stephany looked down and back. The pond was quite big, she thought. The chocolate forest was swaying down below. She was going further up into the sky. The sun was shining down on them and it was warm. She leaned forward and wrapped her arms around Luna's neck, took the biggest deep breath. She felt so relieved, so happy, so full of love. She had a moment though where she felt sad. She wished every child, every girl, every boy could come here. She wished every girl, every boy had a magical pair of earrings. How awesome it would be if all the rest of the world knew about this place. She felt a little bit guilty that she was there alone enjoying it all to herself. If only, she thought, if only there was a way to tell everyone else out there in the world that they too could visit Moonbow Unicorn Forest. What a different world it would be. She closed her eyes, relaxed her body. She could feel the stress melting, almost dripping off her fingers and her toes. Her scalp relaxed. All the tension and headaches she was feeling just melted away. The Muscles in her face got soft and relaxed. Her heart felt calm, happy, so peaceful. Her tummy wasn't hurting. It was just her tummy. She didn't feel anything. No aches or pains or rumbles or butterflies or anything. It was just a comfortable, relaxed tummy. Stephany fell asleep there on the back of Luna. She slept for the longest time till she heard a voice. Someone was shaking her shoulder. The bus lady said, "Stephany, come on. You must have fell asleep. You're going to miss your stop. Your mom and dad would be so scared if you didn't come home." Stephany blinked a couple of times, realized she was back in her real world. But this time she felt so much happier. She knew she could handle the tests at school. She knew she'd make friends with her friends. She knew everything would be okay. Because she had Moonbow Forest. Everything would always be okay. The end.